All right, what's going on, people? This is the Corner Store Podcast. Subscribe, like, comment, and share the content. Find us on YouTube, Stitcher, Google Podcast, Spotify, and iTunes. Today is Father's Day, 2022. How was your Father's Day, man? How's everything going? Down in Atlanta, Georgia, how you doing?
Oh, doing
How was your day?
it was pretty good. Um, I want to say to the audience, Happy Father's Day to everybody.
Yes,
But I
sir.
would especially like to thank my father, Abdul Kareem, for making me do this particular subject tonight, which is called man training, because I got a lot of my man training from my father.
Yeah, I told my wife that we was going to do a topic on man training, and she was kind of like puzzled. And I was like, well, I kind of knew what direction that you wanted to take it, but I just wanted to just kind of like hear you out and kind of get your take on man training because I got three bullet points on how I feel as though like the next generation can like be better men. But go ahead and start.
So I also look. I made this T-shirt uh, after I took a picture. I promised my wife I was going to take a picture with him. So the last time I saw him, that we were out, I grabbed him and gave him a hug, and so I
Nice.
did a picture. But on the back it says Abba means father.
And that's the
So
Arabic word
that's
to
that.
father.
That's one of them. I've also heard children call their fathers Abu.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
uh, and then and then our Hebrew uh, brethren, they say Abba too.
Mm-hmm.
But they just use a different pronunciation of it. It's very similar, just like
As far as the Hebrews, as far as the Hebrews, are you talking about the Hebrew Israelites or is
no,
like a
no, I'm talking about the whole Hebrew nation, all of them.
okay, all right, okay,
But so I think this is a very important topic because there's not a lot of men in the house these days. Um, these young men aren't getting the training that they need to have in order to survive out here.
yeah. Now,
So
when you post that topic, man training, that was the first concern that I had. Like, if we want the next generation of males to be competent men in our society, in our communities, there's not really like enough good men to go around to even get them training because like cause like even when men who don't have kids, cause like half of men between ages of I want to say maybe 18 or 45 don't have any kids, and then you have like the next portion of men who are already married, then you got a subset of men that's pretty much slanging dick and just making all the kids in the community. So with the small percentage of men just making all these babies, and you already got married men with their obligations, with their own family, their own legacy, and then you got 50% of men that don't have any kids. I mean, I wouldn't shun them for like not wanting to take on the responsibility because today being a stepfather is not really a rewarding job per se.
it's funny. It's funny you said that because I was on another one of my shows Thursday night, and they were saying the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, um, men these days they're not trying to be stepdaddies because and I think we talked about this before, but you know one part of this man training I'm talking about is teaching young men to take care of themselves and fully develop, which is what Kevin Samuels was saying to a certain extent. But make sure that you're not broken. Make sure that you're okay with yourself before you start taking on dependents,
Of
whether
course.
that be your wife, whether that be your wife and then a child later, or whether it be a woman that you're with that has children already.
Yes, in today's economy, for a man to be like established enough to even take care of a family, he's going to be more than likely at least 35 years old. This ain't like the old days in which men would graduate from high school and have a union job in which they can like take care of a family and take all those kids to college. Because back then, people had at least four, five, six, seven kids.
Shoot, in our family we had
At least
uh,
at least 10. I mean, back then it was very commonplace for like women to have more than 10 kids.
right, but I'm saying, but our grandmother and grandfather had 18 kids,
Right. Right.
and then our family, you know, a lot of us had a lot of kids too.
Dude, if I had 18 kids, man.
Oh my God, there's no way I could have
Jesus
did that.
Christ.
I mean,
Jesus
but then
Christ.
again, you know, the cost of living was a whole lot different, and like you said, they had these high paying jobs too.
Yeah,
You
good
know,
jobs.
granddaddy made some good money,
All right, he
so
was
where
working.
grandma
He was
didn't work.
he was working for the steel mill. I mean, that was a highly like coveted job for like a black man to have back in the day. It was like maybe post office. Like many common blue collar jobs. Carpenter or roofer,
And
um,
believe it or not,
plumber.
they had a lot of black owned businesses back then too.
Hmm.
You know, our uncle Cornelius owned his own business after he came back from the war, and he used the GI Bill to go to college and to start a business.
Right, right.
But the man training I'm talking about, the one I'd like to address first, is how young men um, look at and treat the police.
Ooh, okay, all right.
And so like I said, my father, when he would hear about things in the neighborhood in Woodlawn, you know what I mean? Because I mean, he knew what was going on around there, and he would say, all right, sons, front living room, it's time for man training,"
S-
and we'd be giggling and thinking it's funny, because it sounds funny, when you're a couple little boys,
Now
because we were
is
still boys.
now is man training synonymous with the talk? It's as
Yes.
far as with boys. Okay, go ahead.
So I mean, we had many talks, but he called it man training. So I mean, he will hear something on the news and say, "Oh shoot, the police just shot a couple black kids, in Englewood in the back for running, and they said they had a gun." So one day he sat us down and he said, "Look, this is how you deal with the police.
Hmm.
You never disrespect them because all you're doing right there is you're making them angry,
As a matter
right?"
of fact, remember what we did that Ryan Coogler video in which he was very calm and
Yes.
poised doing that arrest at the bank? Like
Yep. Absolutely.
if you know for a fact that you didn't do anything wrong and like the
But
cops were to
you did
approach
something
you,
wrong. Right.
then
Don't
you
act a part.
exactly because you're giving them a reason to detain you, and once you feel as though that once you give them the impression that you don't want to be detained, then they're gonna charge a resisting arrest charge on you in addition to like many other things that they can just slap on your sheet. So, but
And,
yeah,
and police are still getting away with it. Like they got look, they're camming each other right now, and they're looking at the body cams, and they are blatantly breaking the law by arresting people just by sitting on a sidewalk or walking down. I mean, it's like Jim Crow's coming back a little bit.
I won't go that far, but
No,
I get your point. I get your
no, it's coming. No, I'm telling you, it's coming back.
I gotta disagree with you on
Okay, well,
that. I would say, come on,
if,
man, Jim
if
Crow.
I'm wrong in 6 months, I'll openly come back and say I apologize. But I'm telling you, it's getting bad. But anyway, my father would say, "Look, you always say yes, sir, no, sir. Always stay calm,
I concur. Yes.
right? And if they're going to arrest you, then go to jail. There's nothing you can do to stop it. That's why they got lawyers. and that's why they have a process. Now, one thing that I think that parents need to do now is to make sure that their children are covered through Legal Shield or some type of or have an attorney that you can call right away and get your child out of prison, or I'm sorry, not prison, but out of jail
Yeah.
if they're in there. You
You know
know,
what? You know what? I used to have the prepaid legal service like back when I was, single and had no family obligations like that. I mean, it was something good to have just in case I was to like want to contest a traffic ticket or something. And you could use prepaid
right,
legal for that. So, but yeah, I get
right.
it.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, it has a lot of benefits, but um, the legal system is brutal. And if you don't have a means of getting someone out, now you trapped up in Cook County or down here in Fulton County, or or up in New York someplace, wherever. And that place is like a zoo. So you don't want your children in the zoo. And so, like I said, my father taught us, look, always be respectful. You know, make sure you have an ID on you, and by far, don't ever run from a police officer
Yeah, of course
because they
not.
can shoot you in your back. And
No, they're not supposed to shoot you in the back.
they're not supposed to, but they have been doing it though. I still watch the Chicago news. They still shooting
Uh,
unarmed people. Look, okay, they're
no.
still shooting unarmed people too.
Yes, yes, those are the outliers. But as far as like good police work, I'm talking about good police work, not the guys that's like going rogue and just shooting people up and saying that I fear for my life. I'm not talking about those cops.
No, no,
I'm
no,
talking
no,
about
no, no. I'm talking about as far as how look. What I'm saying, the one the
remember
one
the
police officer they just released him like early
okay.
that shot the guy. I mean, the young man so many different times, and he was just walking.
I'm not sure what you're talking about, but remember the high profile case in South Carolina, Walter Scott. It was
Um,
it was just a random civilian just recording the whole ordeal, and Walter Scott, I guess he was trying to run away from a cop, and like the cop literally just shot him in the back while he wasn't armed, and it was a big national outcry over it, and the cop ended up going to jail. I'm not sure if the cop is still in jail right now, but it was a big outcry because for one he wasn't armed and he shot him in the back while he was just running away.
right, but like I said, this man training is important because you can't act scared, and you have to be able to be respectful and de-escalate. You can actually de-escalate a police officer by just speaking calm to them. Eventually, they calm down. But if you start playing the monkey role, or you want to be the clown, or you want to be you want to be the funny guy, or you want to be the street lawyer,
Right.
yeah, you're probably going to end up in handcuffs,
Yeah.
or you can lose your life. So you know that was one man training topic that he had. Um, the other one, which is also very important these days, is he asked me if I ever will let a woman take care of me. Like if I ever will let a woman pay my bills, I stay at home, cook, clean, take care of the babies. Would I let a woman? Would I let a woman be in charge of the home?
Are you talking about a reverse role situation in which like the woman is the breadwinner and you're just pretty much like a homemaker, a male homemaker, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So did your dad frown upon that, or he would rather have like men be the breadwinners and then like women, if they choose to work, fine, but the women should be at home tending to the kids and pretty much being the home administrator.
Um, that's not what he said or what he meant. But basically he was saying, before you go out in the world, know that you are going to be responsible for everything as the man.
Right, because we take all the responsibilities. I mean,
Right. So
no matter if we're the breadwinners or not, we could always take the blame or the responsibility or like the blunt of the whole overall like consequences if things don't go right. We will always take that blame. So
right. But
yeah.
I mean, look, I have a friend here who just wrote a book, and it's called Adulting 101. And in this book, and it's for teenagers who are either getting ready to go to college, or those who are leaving college, or leaving the military, or going into the military, around the age group between, say, 17 and 24. And it just lists all the different things that you're going to have to pay for when you leave the nest. And it's a lot of information in this book. And when I got it, I was like, wow, okay. Man training is also something that needs to be done. So I wrote a book about it. And I'm going to hopefully release it sometime. But it's just about man training.
Hmm.
Like, you know, if you if you tell somebody, um, you can tell a child not to drink, but you tell a young man the reason why you don't drink is because it causes liver disease, it's addictive, it costs a lot of money. You list all the reasons why that that particular thing is not useful to you or useful to your life. I wish I would have got that lesson.
I mean,
But
just
yeah,
alcohol in general or excessive uses of alcohol.
no, alcohol, period. Also, you know, thank God I quit smoking. Smoking cigarettes is the stupidest thing I ever did to my body.
That's why you should vape.
No, I don't do the vape either. But um, look, expensive clothes, they're a waste of money. All kind of different addictive things.
I mean, but you're talking about black men. I mean, black men gotta have that
No,
drip.
I'm
They
talking about
gotta
just
have.
men.
Now, I mean, we're gonna talk about the black community because this is the community that kind of like needs like the most help because our women are like having so many like different like avenues of like help and like benefactors.
Okay, all right.
Like
So I divert, and you are correct.
yeah.
Um, there is no look, and I'm not trying to be offensive, okay, but I'm just speaking my truth here. The gay men are getting more support than just regular men are.
I mean, it's not. I mean, yes, it's somewhat of a controversial statement to say, but I mean,
It's
we've been
true.
seeing
Look,
this
look.
for a while.
Okay, but what I'm telling you is, when you look at all the advertising now, it's all about that community too, but it's not about the men. But those men actually get, I mean, but they're getting work, and they're starting companies and businesses. But I'm telling you, like Macy's had a big welcoming opening around the house, and they didn't invite any men. But they say if you were gay, you were invited to come, because they had free grant money or something for gays. So what I'm saying is,
Yeah.
the men, look, all these women who are in power right now, they are not trying to help no men. They're not talking about helping men. They don't have no programs for men. We are being left behind. And this is why this man training is so important too, because you know the women aren't giving them no man training.
I mean, man training shouldn't come from a woman.
Well, but you know what? Um, I do want to give a shout out to all the the male figures who do replace a father if it's necessary.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
You know,
Shout out to them.
but it shouldn't be. It shouldn't have to be necessary, but it is.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, when you have a woman trying to teach a man how to be a man, they're making a whole lot of soft men out here. And
Yeah, I mean, the way that society is going, I mean, they label anything that's like manly, toxic,
right,
toxic masculinity. So, as far as you mentioned about how like gay men are like getting like all the jobs, they getting more employable than heterosexual men. Because I read this book called The Man Not by Dr. Tommy Curry, and in that book, he was basically saying like racism has some type of sexual undertone in which like the black phallus is looked upon with envy from like white people who, well, what white men per se, that don't want the black man to progress economically, politically, and you also have white
but
women.
they don't have a problem with them growing socially
You said what?
because that I said they'll have a problem with them being social with it because that supports their cause.
What do you? Well, wait. What are you talking about as far as like them being social?
What I'm saying is that let's just make it official, okay? We live in a socialist society now. Everything is social. Everything is social. The cancel culture is social. The media. What we're doing right now is social media, right? We're socialist. And
It's two different meanings, though.
okay, what I'm saying is over the last 100 years, white men in this country have always worried about being wiped out. So they've always created some type of divide so they don't get wiped out because they're afraid of extinction. But it's a myth. It's something that's made up socially to make people think, oh, well, this this particular group is better than the other one. Well, now the men are on the bottom. We are the doormats to a lot of people in this country and around the world.
No, it's really black people. I don't think like the Asian community is worried about women taking over their community, or like
Well,
the Jewish people.
they have
Men,
an order, but they have an order.
right? All these other races have a social order, which is
Right.
more patriarchal centric, but the black community is strictly a matriarchy. These women rule. Well,
Yeah, they're
well,
ruling now.
I mean, but as far as in the black community, though, I mean, it just pretty much kind of like on a household to household basis. I mean, men should be leading their household, so men should be the breadwinner. So that makes me a sexist. So be it. Because even if a woman was to get with a man who's not really on her level, she may be cool with it on face value, but subconsciously, after like a certain amount of time, she go think that, oh, he's not pulling his weight. I'm doing all the work. I'm doing all the sacrifice.
Well, so another reason why this man training is so important is because the female influence is teaching them, hey, look, don't be so aggressive. Calm down. Don't be a lion. Be a lamb. And then they go out and be a lamb, and then the boy's mama's like, oh, I can't stand your baby mama, and I can't see my baby no more because you didn't give him the man training. You gave him the sensitive man training.
Like I
So
said,
you send
women
a
can't.
sensitive man out there who understands and wants to not understand his role, and then you wonder why his girlfriend is beating him up or killing him because that happens a lot now too. It's happening every day. They are arresting more women right now for murder than men.
Like I said previously in a conversation, women cannot give men male training. I mean, look at like across Black America, as far as in these communities, is like more centric in like single mother headed households. If there's no man in a household, there's no balance. We all know that women are very emotional, and if men grew up very emotional, they don't know how to practice any type of conflict resolution skills. That's why men are like so quick to um, like kill another man over some BS. Oh, he looked at me wrong. He mean mugging. He
Right,
disrespected me. You know, he stepped in my shoes in the club.
right.
That lacks conflict resolution skills right there. Very emotional men out there. I mean, we have like a lot of walking dead men who didn't get the proper training to be, you know, elderly or older competent men. That's the key right there.
No, I mean, look, you're hitting it on the head. And, for the audience, I grew up on 61st and Woodlawn. Back in the day, it was pretty rough around there. And I needed my man training because my father knew I was walking through that neighborhood to go to school, to go to work, you know. So
Now,
part of
even though you were getting male training back then, you still kind of like shunned it. Obviously, you ain't know no better. I mean, you were just a little teenager kid. So, I mean, who wants
no,
that?
no. That's far from the truth. Everything my father taught me about man training, I use that on the street. That's why, you know what? I got arrested in Chicago when I was living in Milwaukee. When I came home to see grandmama for the last Thanksgiving, I saw her right before I joined the Navy.
Mm-hmm.
And before that, I had never gotten in trouble for anything. But it's because my father used to tell me, look, don't go here, avoid these places, avoid these type of people. Yeah, my father told me about the wolf.
Okay, so yeah,
And
I mean,
no, I'm saying, look, I met the wolf because of my man training. All right.
mm-hmm.
We had a wolf in my neighborhood. All right. And he was a damn sexual pedophile. And but he was a leader. But he was a lion. And he liked a whole bunch of, he wanted a bunch of hyenas to follow him. And I refused to follow this guy. So, and this is something I'm telling young men now, because part of his man training is also understanding who the wolf is. Those males that also try to prey. So I'm on a basketball court. He walks up to me, and I already knew who he was. He was up to no good. And he walked up to me and he asked me my name, and I told him what my name was. And I'm the only person, except for my son, that has this name, but in Chicago. And he was like, "Wow, that's beautiful." And he tried to. It was on. I felt like he was trying to date me. It didn't feel right. So I told the guy, I
Wow.
said, "No, I'm saying, I mean, he was asking questions about things that he shouldn't have been asking me." All right. So I said, "Look, brother, you might not want to be talking to me right now." And he said, "What are you talking about?" I said, "Look, if my father sees you talking to me, he's going to kill you." And the guy looked at me and said, "What?" I said, "You heard me. I said, my father drives a cab and he has a 38 special. And if he sees you talking to me, he will kill you." And then his little assalamu alaikum little thing he was trying to get with me, it walked away slowly.
Mm,
And I looked him in his eyes when I told him that too. And I was serious
mm.
about about letting him know how serious my family is. Because my father didn't want me hanging around there.
Yeah, I
He
mean,
actually he was going to kill me. I just didn't tell him that. I just said he was going to kill him instead.
yeah, like no matter if it's like a like a male or female, if there's some type of like patriarchal covering over you, then that provides some type of protection as well, right? So like being that you
So the
mentioned that,
whole point,
right,
exactly. So the whole point was he knew I had a father at home. See, a bunch of them other dudes around the neighborhood, they ain't had no fathers. They had mothers. So he would go to their houses and be all cool and try to play the manly role, but he was recruiting hyenas
right, right. Okay,
and
yeah, I get you.
jackals. But I showed him that day that a wolf can get stilled down by a bull, because that was me.
Hmm.
I wasn't about to let him. I'm telling you, man. He had guys around that neighborhood running around, following him around. Uh, he had these little rituals going on where they would take a Quran on a Friday and they would try to get me in there to lead them to prayer and all that. I was like, man, what's wrong with you brothers? They was following this dude, the wolf.
I mean, maybe you just wasn't a follower. I mean, you was pretty much beating your own drum. So, I mean,
Well,
people who don't have like a masculine figure, a positive masculine figure in a household, they're very like impressionable. It's so easy to like get them like to like sway in like certain directions. So, and that wasn't able to be apparent between you and your brothers because I mean none of y'all was into gangs. I mean y'all pretty much kind of stayed in the straight and narrow, right?
okay. Uh, I mean, I never was in a gang. I don't think Mahane was ever in a gang.
Hmm.
But all I know is before we moved with my father, my mother made sure we went and got karate class. We started taking karate,
Hmm.
and we got man training in there too. I remember my sensei. He used to uh, he used to teach us how to deal with bullies in school. He used to have this little trick where if someone trying to take your lunch money, you can you can hand the money to them, but grab their arm and flex them and make them submit to you. And I've done it before. And you know what? There is nothing more embarrassing to be on your knees. And I tell you, if you don't tell me, I'm sorry, sir, I'm going to break your arm right now.
Hmm.
I wasn't going to break his arm, but he was in pain and he was embarrassed. He was more embarrassed than anything else. But I've had to deal with bullies like that in nightclubs. You know, guys trying to get a little quick feel.
Hmm.
Yeah, I might flex you a little bit if you grabbing some girl's booty, and then she don't see you, and she grabbing some other guy, you know, snatching somebody else up that didn't even do it because she didn't see who did it,
All
but
right.
I did.
All right.
Yeah, shoot, man. But anyway, um, I'd like to do a series on man training and tell you some more stories, or you know, talk more about this, because some of the things that my father taught me, they saved my life, and not just in Chicago, but in Memphis, uh, overseas. This man training helped me. It helped me identify certain things that I wouldn't have looked at a certain way unless he trained me to do those things.
Yeah.
You know, and I've always and then I got to say this: I have never attacked someone offensively. Anything I've ever done has been defensive
Hmm.
because I'm a martial artist and that's the way I've always been trained. I don't like fighting. I hate fighting. I hate arguing. And I will walk away from a fight in an argument way before I try to get into a fight, because I also know how to de-escalate people, and that's one thing my father taught me, how to de-escalate people so I
As
don't have to fight.
and as a Navy corpsman, were you also involved in the Marine Corps martial arts program?
Yes, I was.
So, okay, so y'all had to do this. Like, was it
Yeah.
mandatory for like corpsmen to do it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, well, if you want your FMF pin, which I did get when I was in Okinawa,
Okay.
but
Yeah,
I had
man.
my belts before I got there.
Yeah, man. Like, as far as the way I view man training, obviously, I don't think every male would get like the appropriate teachings from a qualified, positive role model male per se. But like once a male graduates high school, they should be going through at least one or three tracks. Either you join the military, you get a full time job, or you go to trade school. And the number one
Or,
thing that
or start your own business.
I mean, right, if you start your own business, you're still going to be likely working some type of full time job or even part time job. I mean, you need to be doing something gainfully positive just to kind of keep you from having like an idle mind. But military, college, trade school. And if you choose to start your own business, fine. But start your business while you're making some type of income. And like the number one thing that you should not do is have kids prematurely, because that's gonna literally stop your growth.
It does.
I mean, you just don't know, man. I'm like for a man to have kids early, and you really don't know what temperature the woman's gonna be if they're gonna like maybe have like a falling out. She could put them on child
Right.
support, and she could keep them from getting access to the kids. I mean, so many different things can happen, especially today in which family court pretty much kind of like rules over men, and they always kind of like favor what a woman says. So, but yeah, I mean that's just what I would say that a male should have as a prerequisite after graduating high school, college, military, or trade school, and don't have kids
Yeah.
early. So
And just on the business thing, it doesn't cost a lot of money to start a business. So, you know, for a minimal fee, as you're doing your other things, you can be working on, something in the back of your mind that that might take a while to create. But by the time you get to, where you can actually work it, you already got a business plan. You already got some business credit established. It doesn't have to be a big business. It could be a t-shirt business part time. It could be. Matter of fact, I have a associate here that his brother makes natural ice cream with no dairy in it at all, and he's selling these pints for like $10, like $10 each. So I mean,
there's no
he's just
dairy.
making that,
If,
huh?
if there's no dairy, I mean, is he using like coconut milk, almond milk,
Yeah,
oat
yeah,
milk?
something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
But whatever his recipe is like you can't tell the difference between that and regular ice cream. So people buy it a lot. But he just makes it, he just makes it in big old giant batches and he sells it and he makes money off of it. Um, I mean, there's a whole lot of things, but back to the man training. Um, I hope that some of our listeners will have some of their young men, stay tuned for more, man training, topics because so many of us are not making it. Um, I know what they show on TV, and it looks good. All the celebrities, all the people with all the good money, and I mean, that all looks good. But then when you just start driving around the neighborhoods, and I mean, you just got people still out there on the corners doing nothing, and a lot of them just don't understand. They don't believe that they can get out, and they can get out.
Yeah.
Or all right, so we'll leave it with this. Have you heard or have you seen the video where the mom is telling the boyfriend who's paying the bills that he has to leave before the son who doesn't have a job is going to leave?
I heard about that video, but I didn't see the actual footage. But yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so here you have a grown man who's paying the bills, buying groceries, and you got like a 25-year-old. No, I think he was 20. I think she said he was 29 or 27. I mean, this boy, the boy is a grown man,
All right.
but he never got no man training. So he got the lazy woman. He got the, you know what? You don't have to do anything. I'm going to do everything for you, mama,
Mm-hmm.
including probably his laundry still.
Yeah. Yeah.
No wonder why he ain't going nowhere. His mama is like his girlfriend.
His son husband. So yeah.
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 And then you telling and then you telling the guy who's paying the bills that he got to go before this guy got to go.
Yeah. I heard about that. I just haven't seen the footage. As a matter of fact, I may include some of the footage of that interaction in this video.
That would be great.
What's your plans for this man? What's
my
really
plan
going
is to
on?
stay in here as long as I need to stay in here. That's my
I mean,
plan.
what if he 45, 50?
Yeah,
and
And he gonna be 45, 50
No,
up
I'm
in here.
crazy as hell. Well, damn it, I'm gonna be out there.
Bye.
Understand? No,
Bye.
this going. He's
Bye.
going. He's going
Get the
before
step
me.
in. Get the step in.
He
Because
going.
this my only son. He ain't going nowhere.
That's what's
My
going on.
only son,
See, you
shit.
the one made him like this because your weak ass.
You know
made
what?
him.
Come and go. Your son is forever.
Because
Yeah.
I mean, look, it's ridiculous
Yeah.
that you got women out here treating their sons like a husband.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of these boys, not all of them or young men, they look like the daddy. So it's like, you know what? I'll just replace the son, the daddy with the son.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about as far as the loving, all that stuff. And look, I don't know, and this is the funny part. A lot of these girls out here, they don't want no, they don't want to be dating no mama's boy.
I mean, yeah. Yeah. But so many different nuances of like,
Unless he's a rich mama's boy and his mama happens to like her.
you said what?
I said it'd be unless um he's rich and can take care of her and she likes her. If you know if the mama likes the girlfriend, then they all in harmony. Then it's not until the female, the baby mama, start having issues or whatever, and then that child gets in the middle of that. That's what spoils it all.
Right. Yeah. Of course.
And look, man, I got a friend right now who got invited to even go back to his daughter's baby shower, and he hadn't seen his child in years, or his daughter, and she had twins. And right after the baby shower, he went home, and now he ain't got no contact because they just wanted some money.
Wait. Are you talking about the potential father was invited to the baby shower?
No, I got a friend who was invited to a baby shower, and they used him. Like, what I'm saying is, a lot of these men need to understand that there's a lot of men being set up right now to become just providers, and that's it.
Yeah. If the woman is not gonna hold you personally responsible as a provider, then Big Daddy government will, i.e. the court
Okay,
system.
all right. So look, this is what I'm trying to say. Men and women need to be telling their sons, become a husband first before a father. Keep it in order. Like you were talking about earlier about how all these guys around having kids and all blah blah blah. Yeah, until you're ready to be a husband and a father, don't have no kids. Just take care of you
Yeah,
until you're
man.
ready to do it.
Yeah, kids
I'm
they
telling
will stunt your economic growth by at least 5 years.
you, shoot,
So
man. And if you have more than one, then you're talking maybe it might be a lifetime.
yeah, yeah. Well,
I mean,
that's predicated if you get involved with the wrong woman. Then yeah, you definitely in like a deep hole. So, but yeah, man. I'm glad that we at least had a introductory conversation about this subject. I mean, I think it's gonna be good. I actually like the concept, man
okay,
training.
I
So
appreciate it.
I don't have any sons, but I totally get where you're coming from. So I have a different conversation with my daughters. I mean, they still very little. So one is going to turn
Right.
3. One turns 3 next week, and the oldest one is 6. So I have a long way to go before they're going to have certain talks, especially dealing with boys and dealing with the outside world. So, but for right now, we're just dealing with Disney cartoons and possibly taking them to Disney World as they get older. So, and I'm not
Um,
liking the direction that Disney is going with like certain things and
I was
content
about
that they're
to
coming
ask
out
that.
with.
Look, I was going to ask that question,
Yeah, yeah,
but I'm not trying to, look. I, I'm just sick and tired of other people influencing our children. I
yeah,
don't think they have a right to influence our children like that.
yeah. It's
And
grooming.
they're making it legal. And I tell people all the time, and other people say, slavery was legal too.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, everyone talks so bad about slavery, but it was legal. I mean, it's still kind of legal.
yeah. But this is different though. But like as a father, if I openly state how I don't want my daughters being exposed to like certain content, you know, like the next person don't have a right to like label me like a certain like bigot or phobic and try to have me
Right,
canceled for it, which would impede my ability to like take care of my family. I have an issue with
right.
that.
No, I have an issue with that too
I mean,
because
we have a First Amendment right to like state what we do like and what we don't like. If I don't rock with like certain interest groups out there, then just leave it at that. You live your life, do you? Just because I have an opinion in which I disagree with like the lifestyle, and I don't want that certain lifestyle to be penetrated through my kids' inner thoughts. As a matter of fact, they shouldn't be even thinking about that stuff anyway,
right,
even from a heterosexual perspective. But I don't
right,
want those people infiltrating my daughter's classroom. I don't want them infiltrating my daughter's TV whenever we do choose to like allow them to watch TV
right.
or through the the tablets and stuff like that. So, but yeah, if I don't rock with it, and if I don't want my daughters to even be exposed to it, then that is my right as a father, as the parent.
Look, you know
So
what? And unfortunately, like a lot of other things in this country, it's becoming a war.
yeah, it's the culture
You
war.
know,
Yeah,
right?
right
It's
now
a
it's the
culture,
culture war. Yeah,
right?
yep,
And I mean, the funny part is their eyes are so closed, like they don't even see that our country is giving a mass amount of money to a European country that is not part of NATO, and it probably a very good close number to reparations. Probably the closest we ever might have got to getting reparations. But we just gave $40 billion to a European country that is non NATO, that is being destroyed, and they still haven't even talked about giving us some reparations.
Cut the check. I'll leave it at
Look,
that. Cut me the
cut the
check.
check.
Cut the
Look,
check.
come up with a number and cut the check. Just like you did for them, you cut us a check. And I'm telling you, I'm about done with the Democratic Party, man. I'm done with them. They are a bunch of morons.
Yeah, but
And,
like,
and you know what? And they don't like black people who actually want the check. They want to just give you the small check. The them little tax checks you got for a little bit during COVID. They gave y'all, man, look, they gave y'all crumbs and y'all cheered in the streets and went out and bought every damn thing that there was like a fire sale.
hey, but I'll play devil's advocate. But the Democrats gave us civil rights. They gave us Juneteenth. Do that
Okay.
do that count for something?
See, that was what in 1862, and it took that long to make it the Fourth of July for. Oh, and look, I love CNN too. By the way, they had a celebration and it said Juneteenth, the global celebration of freedom.
they,
What global freedom are you talking about?
yeah, they just pandering.
CNN.
They pandering right now. So
I mean, it's all a cloud of what's about to happen. You're gonna go out and celebrate Juneteenth, and your gas is costing $6 a gallon. You bought the oxtails at $25 a pound now, and y'all celebrating freedom. Y'all about to be poor.
yeah, black people eating good. They eating oxtails. They eating
Well,
shrimp. They eating
now,
lobster. They eating all that stuff.
look, and they bringing back the soul food restaurants now because they can't afford the good stuff at some of the at some of the grocery stores now. So now I'm telling you, and God forbid, I asked for it too. I was like, you know what? There is no Southern restaurants around here, and right around the corner, they building a what do they call it? Oh man, it's called like the Sweet Potato Cafe, and they make macaroni and cheese, and they ain't stingy with the cheese, and they make fresh greens and cabbage and fried catfish or baked catfish, and you know fried and baked chicken. We look now. Hopefully, they're not going to go back to the pork because that's still the cheapest meat that you can buy in a store now. But we're going back to when they were talking about eating them hog maws. Yeah, that's what y'all going to be end up eating
Yeah,
with these
chitlins too.
prices.
Chitlins too.
Chitlin, look, look. I can't even be in a house that smells like chitlins. If I smell some chitlins,
Oh
I'm like, look,
man.
I'm not going to sit around and be smelling no chitlins for hours.
You know what, man? That was my childhood because my mother used to make it every Thanksgiving. When I was in grade school. So obviously, with the education and the awareness that we have, right now, I would
Yeah,
never. Well, for one, I would never cook it. I would never eat it in my house. Like you said, I don't even want to smell it.
nah. I mean, it stinks, man. Especially if you don't cook it right. Man, look, you talking about look, you might as well just be sitting in an outhouse somewhere,
Yeah.
or or in a head somewhere around 29 palms, you know, when it's 120 degrees outside and the pipes done clogged up, or the burn pits,
I
right?
mean, yes, and also
I'm
like
just saying,
being in
man. Shit.
being in Kuwait, right? Like sitting in a porta potty that haven't been cleaned in a few days. Like, do you know, like the stench
Yeah,
that you gotta like stand for just to kind of like just like use the bathroom and a porta potty in like 120-degree heat, and like they
look,
they clean our porta potties like twice a week.
hey, look, you know what? I remember one time I had to call the PMTs one time and tell them, man, look, if you don't tell them come and switch these things out, we finna shut this down. And that went all the way up to a CG. But that PMT, the preventive medicine tech,
Hmm.
within 24 hours, they were bringing brand new porta potties in there and they swapping them out because we can shut them down.
Oh wow.
But over in Kuwait, you don't have those resources. I'm talking about like when we do in,
As far as
back
stateside,
here,
yeah.
right? But so but you have to plan accordingly.
Hmm.
So you got to have a contract, with the people locally, and you got to make sure that they can keep on swapping them out. Because man, I mean, just the flies alone to make you sick.
Where they land
I'm
land
just,
on you.
and you know what? And look, and every single Marine used to always complain why the porta potties were so far away from the shower hall because we don't want them flies in there, man.
Oh yeah.
Because they'll make us all sick. Look, we recycling shit every 24 hours. You're supposed to take a shit, right?
Hmm.
So every 24 hours, you in that porta potty for 3 or 4 days. You and maybe another 30 or 40 Marines in Corman or whoever else is in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a lot of shit. So yeah, I mean, and then like you said, it's 120 degree. Like it's like it's a shit oven in there. Literally, it's a shit oven.
Damn.
I mean, look, man, I'm telling you, the first time I smelled chitlins, it was at my Umi Anissa in Milwaukee. She was my Umi at the wedding with the burqa on,
Okay.
and her mother used to cook them every year. May she rest in peace. And I think I was about. A matter of fact, my mother had went to Pakistan with some of the other sisters, and she didn't go on that trip, so I always stayed with her, and thank God because she helped me through my life. So Sister Anissa, her mother used to cook these chitlins, and I think it was around Christmas time or something. And we went in there, and I'll never forget the first time I smelled chitlins, and I was like, "Ugh, what is that smell?" And she kind of hit me, not hard, but she hit me. She's like, "Hey, be nice." I said, "It stinks in here, Sister Anissa." And her brother Bruce, my uncle Bruce, he started laughing, and he said, "You know what? You're right, man. It does smell terrible." And I was complaining the whole time we was there, and we didn't stay long. But if I walk in your house and I can't do no chitlins, because nah, I can't do that, man.
Yeah, man. Hey,
You know,
what? I'm sorry. Sorry. Go
I
ahead.
ask I, I ask people all the time, do white people eat chitlins?
I don't know of any white person that actually ate them on the same scale as black people did.
I've never known a person to. I even asked that question online once, and all the white people I know was like, "Hell no!"
See, even they knew.
Like
Even they
but
knew.
they said they no. And some of these people from the hills of West Virginia, and they don't eat it up there. Now they will eat mountain oysters though, which are cow intestine. Cow testes.
Oh, okay.
They eat that, but they don't eat no pig intestines though.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
They eat everything but the intestines. As a matter of fact,
Oh, okay. Damn.
that's
Uh,
why we were eating it because back then that's what the only part. Sometimes that was the only part they gave us.
right. 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 Yeah, but you know, post slavery, post civil rights, especially post civil rights, America is one of the most freest countries in the world. There was no reason for us to keep eating chitlins as a
Correct.
culture. And I mean,
Correct.
I'm talking the 1990s when I was in grade school. So, but yeah, I mean, fast forward to today.
A lot of people,
You said what?
there's still a lot of people eat them now.
Oh, well, I mean, like currently, I really don't know anybody that like eats them consistently now, or even on special occasions. I really don't know people that buy them now. But like back then, it was commonplace to like go to like a black Thanksgiving home and they would have chitlins as one of the side dishes. So, but yeah, it was coming back
Uh,
then.
so glad I don't think our family ever had any in our house
I mean, cause
or at our family.
that's because you were Muslim, so of course y'all wasn't gonna eat them.
No, I'm saying. I mean, so I mean, did they have chitlins at some of the dinners?
In my household, yes.
No, no, no. I'm saying like when we started having the big family, like all the the five families. I don't think anybody ever brought any chitlins.
I mean, our family's kind of bougie, so I can imagine them them not eating it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, our family is bougie. I mean, I would definitely say that my father's side of the family are more bougie. They're more successful. Unfortunately, versus my mother's side.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I got bougie because of y'all.
What you mean, man?
I mean, hey, man, it's a conversation for another day. But yeah, man,
Okay.
I had a long day. I've been up since what 6:30. As a matter of fact, the wife surprised me yesterday. I came home for work. She gave me a card. She said something about how like Happy Father's Day. Make sure that you can pack your bags so that we can get away from these kids. And I was like, I'm kind of confused. Like, pack a bag for what? She's like, yeah, we got a room at the Marriott downtown, and we're gonna have dinner at Ocean and Prime. I think that's what it's called. It's off Wacker in Michigan.
Okay.
So yeah, so yeah, I took a nap real quick. I had a little bit of energy once I woke up. We drove downtown. We checked into the hotel. Then we had dinner at this seafood slash steak spot. Man, the food was awesome. And we had
Yeah, it
plans to
sounds
go
good.
on, and we had plans to go into the Riverwalk, but it was kind of cold. It was like in the 60s, and I mean, I didn't have a jacket on. I just had like a regular like white linen type of shirt and some slacks and some loafers.
Yeah,
So
you know
yeah,
they got some weather issues throughout the whole country right now. It's like crazy. Like the
yeah.
last 4 or 5 days, it's been in the hundreds here.
I mean,
Like
it's
literally
been
every day. And now it's like down to like 80. And we had a thunderstorm like 2 nights in a row, where I mean we got pounded with like thunder and lightning.
yeah. We had that
Like
last
it's
week.
not. Yeah, it's
We
crazy.
yeah, we had that last week, and also we had consistent like 90 to upper 80s weather pretty much all week. But for whatever reason, last night it dropped down to like 65, and it was so freaking cold, and I really wasn't in the mood to like walking the river walk, and plus it's colder down there anyway. So
Right.
so after dinner, we just kind of called it a night, went back to the hotel, and we got like a bottle of wine from the bar and just chilled in the room. So, but yeah, that was kind of like my pre Father's Day a celebration. That Saturday night we went downtown and kicked it. Then we got up this morning because we had a sitter come over watch the kids. So we got home in time. Then we pretty much like preparing for the brunch at my father-in-law's house, and then after that,
Yeah, yeah.
then after the brunch, came home, got the kids settled. Then I'll look it up show times for like Top Gun because I've been wanting to see this movie ever since it came out. So since it's Father's Day, I could get away alone and watch this movie in peace, and that's what I did. So, but yeah, if y'all ever
Tell
seen
you what.
Top Gun was good.
Ah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go see it now.
Yeah, go see it. I'm telling you. I mean, hey, if you can watch the first one, just to
What, Top Gun?
right, right. See the
Ah,
first
I'm,
one first.
nah. I mean, I've seen it 100 times, but
Oh, okay,
I
okay,
mean,
all right.
I mean, trust me, Top Gun was one of my. You know what? That's when I became a Tom Cruise fan. Was Top Gun, but there was another movie that he did, which my father took us. Like again, Abba, Happy Father's Day. He took us to go see this movie called Taps, and Sean Penn and Timothy Sutton and some other guys. I mean, that's when they were like young, like just getting into the acting thing.
That was a military
So I
movie.
saw, yeah, it was about a a private military school that was being taken over by like a development that were going to make it into condos or something, and they fought to keep their their little castle there, and Tom Cruise gets killed at the end. He's sitting there shooting all these little army soldiers like real soldiers. It was that movie. It was funny, but then when Top Gun came out, I was just like, yeah, okay.
Now,
So I can't wait to see this one, man.
now, did Top Gun make you want to join the Navy?
Um,
Because I read a story.
actually,
Hey, I read a
you
story
know,
like back then they had recruiting like booths outside of theaters trying to get people to sign up for the military because of Top
yeah,
Gun.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, uh, Top Gun came out, I think, after I was already in, or right around the same time. I can't remember what year it came out.
You know,
Uh,
when did you join?
1989.
You know what? Top Gun came out of 80. I want to say 86. It came out of
Okay,
86. Yeah.
so I mean, I saw it. Actually, I think I saw it at Aunt Willa's house for the first time because she was the only one that had a VCR.
As a matter of fact, um, I remember Top Gun being one of the first VCR tapes that we had at the house. But for whatever reason,
Mhm.
I just wasn't interested in even watching it. So like back then
Oh no,
we had Top Gun, Last Dragon, and like some other like cult classic type movies back then. Well, yeah, I never watched it
you
back
know,
then.
and you know what? I still have it. I have a flight jacket I bought, and I put a bunch of patches on it, but they were like my command patches and stuff. But it was kind of like like the Top Gun looking like thing.
So did the ladies think you were a pilot or something?
Nah, nah, no. I had all my medical patches on it. Like I used to wear it with my EMT outfit. I used to have to wear
Because
because it look, it fit me good, and it was just an extra little piece of warmth. And you were authorized to wear a flight jacket in that uniform.
you know that I worked for a helicopter squadron when I was in San Diego, Mag 16,
Okay.
and Mag 11. They were the fixed wing squadron. So like the pilots that like I was dealing with, they was like pretty laid back and cool and chill.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But the fighter pilots, I mean, they like a whole different breed. So I can imagine
They like little lions, man.
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah, I mean, like they're really aggressive. Um,
cocky and
you know,
arrogant, but
oh yeah, but
but they
but
have
but,
every
but
right to
they're
be though.
but they're killers though.
Yeah, yeah. Train
I mean,
train
that's their job.
train killers from the air. That's what they are. You
Yeah,
know.
man.
So,
I've
but
met a couple of my day too.
yeah, man. But yeah, man. But we could talk for hours about this. But yeah, man. I appreciate you for like doing this real quick, man. And happy Father's Day, man. And hopefully we have many
You,
more. And
cool.
yeah, man. Finish off your weekend, man, and tell the wife I say hello.
All right, man. I'll do that.
All right, man. All right, peace out. See ya.
All right, peace.
All right.